Thursday, March the 21st. Lake level's right about 912, just about 3 foot below normal. It's been coming up pretty steady, and just starting to snow right now. So we got snow and rain predicted for the next 3-4 days, clear up until the end of Sunday. So with any kind of luck, we ought to get a bunch of moisture, and hopefully the lake will get back up to normal pool, up to 915. Water temperature still about the same. The last 2 days I was about 47 degrees. I didn't get to fish much last week. I just fished 2 days this week. But I went to Lake of the Ozarks to fish a Everstart Series tournament and pretty much got my rear end handed to me. Never did have a good practice. What little bit I got on in practice, I couldn't catch him that way during the tournament. So didn't have a very good tournament. Not what I was hoping for. But anyways, here they had a tournament. I think it was a Joe Bass tournament last weekend, and 5 fish was 29.5 pounds. The big fish that are coming are still phenomenal. Now, it's not a lot of fish. We really struggled the couple days we went out this week. We caught 7 or 8 keepers. We didn't catch any big ones, but we really struggled to catch them. A lot of them big stringers are still coming on the Alabama rig. A few on a jerkbait, but I think the majority of them are coming on A rigs. And they're coming at different depths. Some of the guys catch them out of cedar trees back in the creeks on secondary points where you'd normally throw a jerkbait. And then there's still a bunch of fish that are coming up out of the deep water. Some of them being caught, anywhere from 40, some as deep as 50 foot. Now it seems like if you're out there on the main lake fishing real deep, you got to get down over where that submerged timber is, and you actually want that A-rig to tick the top of them trees. That's where the bite seems to come from. Now that's where braid really plays a big part. There you go, Gizmo. As far as being able to feel the bite, the braid's a lot more sensitive, and when you get down there that deep, you can usually tell the difference between a tree and a bite. And that bite on the A-rig, for the most part, it's not a ferocious bite. A lot of times they'll just push the rig towards you. And if you don't set the hook, you're not going to get them. So, if you're not sure if it's a tree, just go ahead and set the hook. But if it's a tree, you'll know pretty quick because you usually get the bait stuck in the tree. But the way I'm rigging them, especially when I fish around a lot of timber, I'm using a swim bait hook, like a belly hook. It's got a little screw lock up here, just like a shaky head where you screw the bait in and then you can Texas rig it. Now, if you feel yourself coming through a tree, and it's a tree and not a fish, don't run the bait up into the tree real hard. Just keep it snug and get the boat over on the other side of it. Most of the time it'll come out. Most of the time the rig itself gets stuck in the tree or the limb. The baits don't. But usually if you feel that and you do set the hook, it's going to pull it in and bury it. But I try to use fairly light wire hooks so if I do get stuck I can straighten it. Now the other day we caught a lot of fish on grubs. Just fishing main lake flat points, normally where you'd fish in another month or so. Kind of do-nothing banks, smallmouth areas. We're throwing a smoke with black flake and a salt and pepper, which is kind of like a white with black flake, or a milky white will work as well. For the most part, I'm setting the boat in 20 to 25 feet of water, counting the bait down to about 8 feet, and just reeling it back in real slow. Now, even this bite, you really got to pay attention. The bite is super light, and if you've got a lot of wind, it's even harder to feel. Now, if I've got wind, I'll throw the jerkbait out on them same points. One that worked for us the other day was, I think it's called Blue Bandit, a Spro. And another one that's, I think it's like Chartreuse Sexy Shad, Lucky Crab. But when the wind picks up too much to throw the grub, then I'll throw the A-rig in the same place. Now, what's going to be happening, I think everything's going to be behind, because normally the 1st April, we've got fish on the beds, and we're still 12, 13 degrees away water temperature-wise, and then fish coming up to spawn. Now, they've got a clock inside of them that they know it's getting timed by the length of the days and stuff. So they'll continue to move up shallow, but they won't actually come up and do it till that water gets up, 57, 58 degrees. With the snow and stuff coming in, that water is not going to get any warmer this weekend. And by the extended forecast for the next week or so, it looks like there's still several nights below freezing. So, I mean, I don't see the water temperature changing much for the next week or so. So, I mean, the A-rig should hold up real good, the jerkbait. And there's also some fish being caught on jigs around docks, you know, anywhere from, 8 to 15 foot deep. And also, there was a few fish being caught on these gravel points where I'm catching them on a grub on a split shot. But with that water temperature cooling down, I think that's probably going to keep a lot of the fish more suspended. A lot of the keys to the areas that you're fishing is you want to be fishing close to the deep water. Whether it's in a creek or on the main lake, you want a channel or a creek, you know, real close to you, where them fish got easy access to come up out of that deep water up there where they're going to feed. Now, as far as the baits I'm throwing on the A-rig, you know, I'm mixing it up quite a bit. Usually swim fluke juniors, and I really don't think it matters what color as long as it's white or shad. This particular one, I've got a 4.8 Kitech on it, on the center hook. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll use a regular swim fluke, which is about an inch bigger than the swim fluke junior. I'll use that one on the center wire, and you'll find that almost all your bites come on that center wire. And I know a lot of people are tired of throwing it, and you know, you can actually go out and throw this thing all day and not get a bite. So it's not a cure-all, but if a person gets in the right place, it is without a doubt catching some monster fish. I mean, there was, again this weekend, there was, I think, 4 fish over 8 pounds weighed in, and that's phenomenal. That's happening week after week, you know, for the past month or so. Table Rock is really showing out as far as the quality of the fish, you know, the size. Now, I know another thing that was working this weekend, some friends of mine texted me some pictures, was a spinnerbait. Now, that may kind of slow up with the water temperature dropping, but they had some 49, 50 degree water temperature this past weekend, and if any of you were out, you knew the wind blew like crazy. Well, they were fishing in the wind-blown pockets. They were catching some off of cedar trees. Same type of cedar trees you normally throw a jerkbait around, or the A-rig. And they were also fishing rock transitions where it went from ledge rock into like football-sized rock. And I know the guys that texted me several pictures, and they had some up as big as 6 pounds, but several keepers. And it was on a War Eagle, 3/8 ounce. It's a purple shad. Got 1 gold, 1 nickel blade. And I know another guy told me he caught him on tandem Colorado blades. Now I'm assuming if he was throwing Colorado blades, he's probably up in a little bit more stained water. The guys I know that caught him on the War Eagle were in the real clear water. They said once the wind stopped, that was pretty much the end of the bite too. But as long as the wind was blowing, they were just fishing main lake little cuts, not so much creeks, but just little cuts and pockets where, you know, it'd be a couple hundred yards in and out, right off of the main lake, and also back in the creeks. So, you know, hopefully with this rain and snow, the lake's going to get back up to pool, and hopefully get up a little above pool. We'll get some water in the bushes, and get a warmer trend, get them fish on the move. So, till next week, good luck and good fishing. And also, we've got that charity tournament for that little girl that's dyslexic. It's out.
Peyton Edwards.
Yeah, Peyton Edwards. It's out of Cape Fear, and I believe it was March the 30th. Out of Cape Fear. It's a charity deal to raising money for her special education. So, and also my wife is putting together a web page listing all the tournaments, where they're going out of, and then a link to their site so that if you need more information. Hopefully she'll have that up in the next week or so. So till next week, good luck, good fishing.